Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin, and welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Today, it's just me. Everybody is living their busy lives, and I didn't have anyone to help with the filming today, which is fine. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to see what I can do myself. So today, since it's just me, we're going to have a cavalcade walk around and look at some vintage Tupperware. But, you know, I get emails and comments from all of you, which I love, and also often asking me, okay, I get it, you collect stoves and appliances. What else do you collect? Well, there's actually some stuff here in the Cavalcade that is not related to food or cooking, if you can believe it. Let me take you in right now to the typewriter room. So I collect typewriters and refurbish them, bring them back to life. And many of them, like you see here, are portable typewriters in cases. And then, of course, we have some larger ones, what we would call standard size typewriters, and those are here. And right now I have a lot of the typewriters out in the front window display, and because I actually have a sort of an old-fashioned high school typing class set up in one of the display windows. I'll try to get a shot of that later. But this is the typewriter room, and yeah, there's our stand mixers, which I promise I'll do an episode on. Coffee pots, of course. Up here you have a collection of radios, and of course a collection of dictionaries, because after all, that was the first spell check. So when I have occasion to have young school kids in on field trips, which unfortunately hasn't happened for the past year because of COVID, so I hope to have the kids back again. They love all the vintage appliances and stuff, but what I do is I have enough typewriters here so that each student can stand at a typewriter and type. And I have to tell you, for second graders, there is nothing more fun than typing on a typewriter. And to see these kids, many of whom have never even seen a typewriter before, let alone use one, this room is like the biggest hit in the world. And I love to see the kids experience using a typewriter for the first time, and they can type their name and whatever else they want, and they can take the piece of paper home with them and show mom and dad what they got to type on an old-fashioned typewriter. So this is the typewriter room here at the Cavalcade. Across from the typewriter room, and I'm sorry it's in a little bit of a disarray because we're still working on it, is the record library. And a lot of you comment that you hear music playing sometimes, and that's true almost always when I'm here or when all of us are here. We do have music playing, and I have at our disposal, we have literally thousands and thousands of record albums, which we love to play, and old record players as well. But you know, here's a little taste of the record library. And we have been in the process of sorting the records out by genre and then alphabetical by artist, and it's a big job. And I have boxes still of records here that haven't been emptied out yet. But we're getting there. We're making progress. And then, of course, everything needs to be cataloged and inventoried so I know what I have and I can find things. And this all takes a lot of time, but it really is a labor of love. We have a couple of phonographs here and an amplifier, and this is where the records play and the music gets piped throughout the entire place, which is great. And then I think many of you have seen the Cookbook Library before. So although I would say this is very cooking related, look at all these records here. These all have to be filed away, just waiting their turn to be put in their proper place. But Cookbook Library, here's a preview. Yes, we'll do a video on thermoses, and yes, we'll do a video on ice buckets. And why not cookie jars while we're at it? All fun things that are part of the library. Right now, another project I've got going on, like many of you, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recipes that I have collected over the years that are on handwritten 3x5 cards, are cutouts from magazines, newspaper clippings, things like that. I'm in the process of sorting all of these recipes so that they can go into the file cabinets, and I'm using the same categories to sort and file as the classic Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, so that sometimes some of the best recipes aren't in a cookbook, but they were on a handwritten 3x5 card, smudged and stained, or, look at this. I mean, okay. I have so many of these kind of handwritten recipes that I have picked up over the years at different sales, and some of them are just terrific, and I can't wait to try. And yeah, we will also have a video on pitchers and for orange juice, tomato juice, lemonade, all sorts of fun drinks. And these are just wonderful glass pitchers, most of which were purchased in a dime store, just like the old Ben Franklin here at some point in time, but certainly part of our food culture and our heritage. And then, of course, we have dishes of all sorts, of many patterns, and I think it'll be fun one day to just take a look at some of these dish patterns. And I try to alternate them and use different ones when we do a video for Cavalcade of Food, since there are quite a few here, and they're fun to use. And why not? There's waffle irons, another episode. Boy, I've got my work cut out for me, don't I, folks? But I really do. I take great pleasure in sharing these collections with you. So let's take a look. I've got a shelf here. I don't have a ton of it, but I have a little bit of vintage Tupperware items. And I think some of this will look familiar to some of you. And what I love about the Tupperware is the colors are often a dead giveaway of sort of the time period. So these are canister sets and storage containers, and they all come sort of from that mid-80s into the early 80s era of wonderful kind of earth tones and colors of gold and brown and orange. And I love to just mix and match them. Now, here is a piece that I think is Tupperware did a nice job with, and that is sort of a juicer. And I know we've done a juicer episode, and I was remiss in putting this Tupperware juicer out there, but it's nice. Here's a little I always use this for like cream or half and half, things like that. Now, those of you food friends, can one of you please, I'm not 100% certain, and I've got two of these, as to what the function of this particular Tupperware item is. I think you put ice in it maybe in the bottom or something to keep things cold. It has a top that opens. Here, I'll put it on the table so that maybe we can get a better look at it. You've got a top here. I'm doing everything one-handed, so bear with me. That opens, and the top part of the pedestal comes apart. So you end up having the pedestal piece, this piece, and then the lid. And I'm not quite sure what it does, but I know one of you will know, and you can help me with that. Then we do have some Tupperware pitchers. There's one in that beautiful orange color. Here's a clear one with a red lid, and these have got these pressure suction lids, and they really do form a nice tight seal. Now here's a cake carrier. I think we're familiar with that. There are the iconic salt and pepper shakers from Tupperware, and I have multiple sets of these, and many of you have commented because you see them in the videos, and I always have kept a pair of these by my stoves no matter where I was cooking, because to me they are just absolute essential. I love the little lids on the top, keep the moisture out, especially at the cottage, because the cottage was consistently very damp, so much moisture, part of it being close to the lake, but any kind of spice or things like that, sugar, everything just absorbed the moisture and would become hard as a rock. But not my salt and peppers, because of those great lids that are on there. Then I've got these little. To me, these are perfect for like picnics or even a party where you can put different, condiments or olives or things like that in there. I've got one in red and one in sort of a tan and white. Then we have a strainer. Here's a grater and a shredder. And then it goes into a container, very handy. Here is another sort of fun little, I wouldn't call it a Lazy Susan per se. It's kind of almost because it doesn't turn, but it's sort of a relish tray. Has a little handle, perfect for taking to a party. And then you can see this one is long. That's perfect for celery. And you've got measuring cups. And then we have here a Tupperware Jiffy Sift. So this, there we go. This has got a little sifter there, and you put flour in it or powdered sugar. It's perfect. Has a little crank, and then it turns. Here's like this was great for making milkshakes and things like that. And you've got all kinds of little pitchers. Again, there's some nice containers from that 70s period. Oh, and then this I actually have used. This is the hamburger maker, former. And you have all of these which hold individual patties of ground beef or ground turkey, but it helps you make these really wonderful flat but consistent in size and shape hamburger patties, and you can make them in advance. Then let's not forget Tupperware's contribution to the Jell-O mold. There's some large molds. Here's some individual molds. Tupperware, of course, the measuring cups, terrific, and parfait cups, and pudding cups, and more storage containers. These were the ones that were sort of rounded square shape with the variegated tops, very nice. And then cereal bowls and snack bowls. We had these when I was a kid. These must be from the 60s. They're just in these fun colors. And then you have all the tumblers with lids, perfect, in all kinds of different colors, and Tupperware pitchers. And oh, who can forget? I keep liquid in here, just colored water, because people are always like, what are those? Because younger people might not recognize these Tupperware popsicle makers, if you remember from back in the day, and Mom used to make popsicles with these. I want to say that she used Jell-O as the flavoring, and God, they were great. And then behind the popsicle maker is the Tupperware canned ham container keeper, and just the shape of it is perfect for canned ham. I haven't seen a canned ham in years. I don't know if they even still make them, but that was exactly the shape. Then here's a set of Tupperware coasters, and they have little holes in them with a sponge there to absorb the moisture, and a little caddy, and they're sort of all different colors. And then finally, the Tupperware big bowls. And I just remember my mom making coleslaw and potato salad and macaroni salad, things like that, to take to parties and picnics. And she'd put it in one of these giant Tupperware bowls. So that's just a little of the vintage Tupperware here at the Cavalcade. Fun things to see and to remember. I did a display window on the Tupperware, the vintage Tupperware, and people just came and looked at it and really enjoyed it. And it was a lot of fun to do. So speaking of display windows, I wanted to show you all here. Of course, we're seeing it from behind. But what I've got here is here's our typing class. And so I've got typing tables and our typewriters, and over here you can see Typing 101, spell check, grab a dictionary. Just my type. But yeah, here we'll come around and you can see us in our typing class here at the Cavalcade in the windows, and teacher's instructions on the chalkboard at the front of the room. It's all a lot of fun. Another way to share the collection here at the Cavalcade, and thank you for just indulging me while I did things sort of on my own this time around. And I hope you enjoyed the little walk around and the look at the Tupperware. And we'll see you again real soon right here on Cavalcade of Food. Take care and be well.